the latest episode of the Kansas Moonshot Podcast, where we are shining the spotlight on amazing things happening in schools across the state. Whether you're one of the Mercury, Gemini, or in the near future Apollo schools launching some amazing redesign plans, or a teacher trying to do something a little different, I want to share your story. The goal is to celebrate the awesomeness all around us. All right, now there are no new guests this week. I took the time over winter break. It was really tough, but I actually took some time to relax, enjoy time with family, and set some of my school things aside for the winter break. Sometimes we need that moment to reconnect with family and reflect and get that rejuvenation that comes from a long break like winter break. And I needed that, so I set that aside, put a pause in the podcast, but I'm ready to get rocking and rolling for the spring semester. I can't believe we did 16 episodes of the podcast last semester. There are a lot of new episodes coming up in the coming weeks, all the way through the end of the school year. So I look forward to interviewing some great people and hearing about some of those stories from some of those schools who are deep in the heart of their redesign plans. If you are one of those teachers at one of those schools, or you're a principal, or you are someone within that school, please reach out to me. If you know of a teacher who's doing something really amazing, please let me know about it. I want to get them on the show so we can highlight some of those great things going on. Now, this time of year is always great for creating those dreaded New Year's resolutions that statistics show we don't always follow through on. So I do something a little different. I got this idea from the book Ditch That Textbook by Matt Miller. Towards the end of it, he recommends this idea of the one-word theme for your school year. And you might have seen this on Twitter. It's circulating quite a bit. This idea of a one-word theme. A one-word theme, all that is you sum up everything you hope to accomplish. You narrow it down to one word. And every time you're planning something for your year, planning something for your class, planning something that you want to do, you always try to tie it back into that word that you value, that you think is the most important thing for you for this school year. And so my one-word theme for the rest of the year is stamina. Because the thing about teaching is it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. There are so many times when I teach students in my class, and I don't always see the immediate results of what they've learned from me. It may be 2-3 years down the road when something finally clicks, and they remember a lesson that we did, and everything comes together. So you may be doing something right now that isn't going to pay off for years to come. And that's tough. That's a hard thing about our job as educators is we don't always see immediately the results of the work we put in. But I want to have the stamina to stick with it. That's the thing about redesign too. When you are redesigning an entire system, it takes time. It takes patience. You have to be willing to constantly course correct when needed, but not lose sight of the long-term goals for short-term wins. So as you're going through your redesign process, if you're in the middle of that, have that stamina to stick with what you know is right for students. Now, I'm not saying stick with something that's not working just because you think, oh, well, we said we were going to do this, so we're going to stick with it. But if you truly believe that what you are doing is best for students, stick with it. There may even be dips in the results from your students because you're altering entire systems. That's okay. Stick with it. Because if it's what's truly best for students in the long run, it'll pay off. I also want my students to have stamina. And so that comes back to my one-word theme. I want them to have stamina, since I'm a language arts teacher, I want them to have stamina as readers. I want them to have stamina as writers. I want them reading more, writing more, developing those habits that is going to make them lifelong readers and writers. And so everything I'm doing is coming back to that word, that stamina. And I know it's not an exciting word. It's not a thrilling word. But that's what gets things done, is when you have that stamina to stick with something. So thank you for being a part of my journey in this podcast. I look forward to some guests coming up. It's going to be a great rest of the school year. So thank you for making this podcast a success. Please reach out to me. You can find me at Teach Like a Ninja on Twitter. You can find me at my website, mrstockrocks.com. You can also find me. I have a student Twitter page, which is at Mr. Stock Rocks. I also have a student Instagram, which is at Mr. Stock Rocks. That's one of my areas of stamina that I want to work on. Is I'm going to work on the social media presence of my class. I want my students to get their ideas out there and share with the world. So we're going to work on these social media pieces. But please reach out to me if you have anything you want to share. If you know someone who is doing something great, just reach out to me. Thank you. I hope you have a great semester. My name is Josh Stock. I am a 6th grade language arts teacher and self-proclaimed awesomeness expert. Until next time, as I always tell my students in every video I create for them, book it forward and be awesome.